Now, the greatest radio shows of all time.
Suspense.
The Shadow Node.
Washington calling David Harding, counterspy.
Classic radio theater.
The Great Gildersleeve. Fibber McGee and Molly.
Dragnet. Gunsmoke.
The Lone Ranger.
Now, step back into a time machine with your host, Wyatt Cox.
Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum.
We go back 69 years to April 12, 1953. An episode of Escape. Parley Baer stars as in an episode entitled Classified Secret. And we thank you for tuning in on this Tuesday, 12th day of April, 102nd day of the year. We have 263 days remaining until we get to 2023. The Civil War began on this date in 1861 with Confederate forces firing on Fort Sumter in the harbor of Charleston, South Carolina. Confederate forces under General Nathan Bedford Forrest killed most of the African-American soldiers who had surrendered at Fort Pillow, Tennessee in 1864. In 1937, Sir Frank Whittle ground-tested the first jet engine designed to power an aircraft. In 1945, President Roosevelt died in office. Here's a montage of some of his biggest moments.
First of all, let me assert my firm belief that the only thing we have to fear is fear itself.
I see 1/3 of a nation ill-housed, ill-clad, ill-nourished. The test of our progress is not whether we add more to the abundance of those who have much. It is whether we provide enough for those who have too little.
Yesterday, December 7th, 1941, a date which will live in infamy.
Vice President Harry S. Truman inaugurated as the 33rd President of the United States. On this date, Truman spoke to Congress.
Mr. Speaker. Just a moment. Let me present you, will you, Harry? Members of the Congress, I have the great pleasure and the high privilege of presenting to you the President of the United States.
Mr. Speaker, Mr. President, members of the Congress, it is with a heavy heart that I stand before you, my friends and colleagues in the Congress of the United States.
A wartime change of power on this date 77 years ago. It was on this date in 1954, Bill Haley and the Comets recorded Rock Around the Clock. Now, it was initially unsuccessful. The recording would help launch the rock and roll revolution a year later. Haley explained the beat in his music that he thinks led to the success.
We changed the rhythm from just a shuffle type rhythm to the heavy 2/4 beat, which was 1 2 3 4, 1 2 3 4. Get out in that kitchen and rattle those pots and pans. Whereas it used to be dun 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 dun.
Haley sold 25 million records worldwide before passing away in 1981 at the still young age of 55. The polio vaccine developed by Jonas Salk on this date in 1955 declared safe and effective. In 1961, Yuri Gagarin, the Russian cosmonaut, became the first man to fly in space.
This is the BBC Home Service. Here is the news. All Moscow is waiting to give a hero's welcome to the world's first spaceman, Major Gagarin of the Soviet Air Force.
Gagarin beating the U.S. into spaceflight on this date in 1961. In 1981, the first launch of a space shuttle, Columbia launching on the STS-1 mission. In 1988, Sonny Bono, yeah, that's Sonny Bono, beat out 7 contenders to become mayor of Palm Springs, California.
I feel elated. I'm in shock, kind of, because you fight for a day. You never really think it's going to come, and then when it gets here, I really went comatose today. I became absolute bread mold all day.
It was the first step in a career move from entertainment into politics. Sonny Bono would be elected to Congress in 1994, but 4 years later, a skiing accident would claim his life. He was 62, and the beat goes on. President Clinton cited for contempt of court on this date in 1999 for giving intentionally false statements in the Paula Jones sexual harassment civil lawsuit. The government announced a compensation program for persons who worked at the Nevada test site on this date in 2000. That was 65 miles northwest of Las Vegas, where more than 900 above and below ground nuclear weapons exploded from 1951 until 1992.
The President, the Vice President, and I apologize for the suffering these men and women have been through, suffering from the effects of cancer, chronic beryllium disease, and other illnesses, and also suffering at the failure of their government to acknowledge a responsibility to help them. It's time to do right by these proud workers.
Energy Secretary Bill Richardson. Among those passing away on the 12th day of April, Boss Tweed, the political boss of New York City for a period. Also, the Red Cross founder Clara Barton. As we mentioned, President Franklin D. Roosevelt. Phil Wrigley, the Major League Baseball executive and chewing gum manufacturer. Boxer Joe Louis. Mike Von Erich, one of the tragic Von Erich family. Good promoters, but their family life was just horrible. There were so many medical problems that were just not good. Abby Hoffman, Boxcar Willie, Ann Jackson, and Sugar Ray Robinson.
Sugar Ray Robinson was probably inch for inch and pound for pound the greatest fighter who has yet lived. Period. There can be no question about that. He faced the greatest. He beat them all. And while he lost on occasion, he always made up for it. The best. That's all there is. The best fighter who has yet lived.
Howard Cosell on Sugar Ray Robinson, who passed away on this date in 1989. Born on this date, Beverly Cleary, the children's author who passed away last year at the age of 104. Musician, band leader Billy Vaughn. Actress, dancer Ann Miller, musician Tiny Tim, who still is tiptoeing through the tulips in heaven. Tom Clancy, the author, and singer-actor David Cassidy, teen idol during his time as well. Herbie Hancock, the pianist-composer, 82 years old today. Oh, I remember his, it was Chameleon was the name of the song. He did a great job with it, but Maynard Ferguson tore it up as well. Al Bundy from Married with Children and for Modern Family, Ed O'Neill, 76. David Letterman, 75 years old today. Martha and the Vandellas, Lois Reeves is 74. Andy Garcia, the actor, is 66 today. Country musician Vince Gill, 65. You remember him from Buffy the Vampire Slayer and also from Criminal Minds. Nicholas Brendan is 51. From 90210 and Little House on the Prairie, Shannon Doherty is 51. Coldplay's Guy Berryman is 44. Actress Claire Danes is 43. Panic at the Disco's Brendan Urie is 35, as is model actress Brooklyn Decker. And Academy Award nominations for Atonement and Brooklyn, Saoirse Ronan is 28. Those some of the people who celebrate the 12th day of April as their birthday. And if this happens to be your birthday...
Hi. We're the Four Freshmen, and we just want to say, Happy birthday to you.
Parley Baer, starring in an episode of Escape entitled Classified Secret from 69 years ago today, April 12th, 1953. On this Tuesday, Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.
Hi, this is Kyle Horvath with the White Pine County Tourism and Recreation Board. If you want to get away from the big cities and get back to nature this summer, give us a call at 775-289-3720 or visit us online at elinevada.net. There's so much to do and see I can't mention it in 30 seconds, but check out our website and you'll see what Nevada is really all about. elinevada.net or follow us on Facebook or Instagram. Give us a call at 775-289-3720 or visit us online at elinevada.net.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's MediShare. Maybe you've heard switching to MediShare to pay for healthcare can save the typical family $500 a month, and that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for MediShare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. MediShare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 833-34-BIBLE. That's 833-34-BIBLE. 833-34-BIBLE.
Now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox, we go back 69 years to April 12th, 1953. Parley Baer, no, not as Chester, but as a spy, an episode of Escape entitled Classified Secret.
Tired of the everyday grind? Ever dream of a life of romantic adventure? Want to get away from it all? We offer you Escape.
Escape, designed to free you from the four walls of today for a half hour of high adventure.
You are traveling east on a cross-country bus, while among your fellow passengers, seemingly innocent and friendly, are a man and a woman who plan to destroy you and 150 million of your countrymen.
Listen now as Escape brings you Anthony Ellis's exciting story, Classified Secret.
Nice day.
Yes.
Kids sure not spraying. Look at them.
I've been watching them.
Yeah. Kind of glad, though, I haven't got any.
Oh?
Well, you know, world conditions, things the way they are. Who wants to bring a kid into it?
I suppose so. Do you have a match?
Sure. Here you are.
Thanks. Have you got it? What's the matter?
Well, you don't look the type. I almost hoped you weren't.
Have you got it?
With me? No, but I'll take you to where it is.
All right. The money's in 10s, 20s, and 50s.
In the sack with the groceries?
Mm-hmm. I thought it'd be safer that way.
I guess so. How much?
10,000.
10?
That's what you agreed to?
I said 20.
I was told 10.
They made a mistake then, didn't they? Sorry.
What are you trying to do?
Nothing. Not a thing.
I was told you were with us.
I am, but I get paid for it too, don't you?
I can't sit here any longer. We might be watched. Will you please give me...
Sorry. It was a misunderstanding.
But
Unless you want to take me to the head man, maybe he can straighten it out.
I haven't any instructions for that. Where can I reach you?
As of about 2 hours from now, you can't. I'm leaving town.
Will you give us 24 hours? It'll take that
I'm
long.
sorry. If you can't pay what I want, there's somebody else who will.
I'm going.
So long. I was sitting on a bench in a little park in North Hollywood, California. The early spring sun was warm, and there was a smell of fresh-cut grass. I watched the woman I'd never seen before walk off down the path. She was headed for the avenue, and some cars parked beyond the trees. I thought how nice it would have been if she were just a woman in the park and nothing else. I waited until she was out of sight. Then I got up and walked away in the opposite direction. I got the bus at the Hollywood station. I had a train ticket in my pocket, but with the new development, it looked safer to ride the bus. Just before we pulled out, a girl climbed aboard and came down the aisle looking for a seat.
Excuse me, is this number...
18.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, here, let me put your case up.
Well, thank you. I was afraid I was going to miss it.
Yeah, I know how it is. I settled back and watched the city drift away into desert country. As buses go, it was pretty quiet. There was a 4 or 5 year old kid with his mother a couple of seats forward, but he dozed off almost as soon as we got running. I took a look at the girl sitting next to me, not in the way you might think, but because in my business, you get to learn to look at people. You never know who it might be. She must have felt me watching. She lowered the magazine she was reading.
Would you care to look at one of these?
That's nice of you. I always forget to buy them.
Well, this one's a mystery. I don't usually read them, but on a long trip, they kind of pass the time away.
Yeah, they do. How far are you going?
New York.
That's a long trip, all right.
I'll say. I haven't been back for 10 years. Bet it's changed.
Yeah, I guess so. I read the mystery well into Arizona. When I finished, it was beginning to get dark. The kid up ahead was awake and hungry. There was a feeling of expectation on the bus as we drove into the first night of travel.
Did you enjoy it?
Oh, yes, it was fine. Thanks a lot.
What was it about?
Spies. Real exciting.
I like spy movies sometimes. I think they do so many of them. You read about it in the papers all the time. I don't know. I think people would get sick of it.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
They're exciting, like you say. I bet it isn't really like that.
I doubt it. Say, my name's Charlie. Charlie Rader.
Oh, how do you do? I'm Julie Spaulding.
Hi.
That kid sounds as hungry as I am.
Yeah, we ought to be stopping soon.
I hope so.
About 15 minutes later, we pulled up at a restaurant terminal and went in for food. I watched for any new passengers who might be getting on. I didn't see anybody, and as soon as I'd finished my sandwich and coffee, I sent a telegram to New York and then got back on the bus. The girl, Julie, and I seemed to be hitting it off, and it was pleasant enough to pass the time. After we got rolling, the kid up ahead decided to sing himself to sleep. It was like a crooning over and over again, the same song, the same few notes. I guess it put everybody else to sleep except him.
Makes you sleepy, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Reminds me of when I was a kid. I used to do that. Kids are funny.
How?
Well, I don't know. I'm going back to New York for my sister's wedding. She's getting married next week. She says she wants lots of kids. I don't know.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Mind if I ask you something?
No, I don't mind. What?
Are you married?
No.
I don't mean it the way it sounds. I'm always interested in trying to guess about people. Now, I would have figured you were a married man with maybe 2 or 3 kids.
No, I'm not married.
Oh. I hope you don't think I'm nosy.
No.
Well, that kid singing fixed me. I'm gonna take a nap. Good night, Charlie.
Good night. I must have dropped off too. When I woke up, she had her head on my shoulder. A lock of her hair was falling over her closed eyes. And then I knew something was different on the bus. Somebody on the other side of the aisle, watching.
Excuse me, mister. If you got a match, I'm clean out.
Sure. Just a minute. Here you are.
Thanks.
No, keep them.
Oh, fine. Thanks a lot.
Say, have you got any idea where we are?
I'm not sure. I got on at Flagstaff an hour or so back. Oh, boy, I envy her. Wish I could sleep like that. Your wife?
No.
Oh, say, that's rude. Taking your matches and not offering you a cigarette.
Oh, that's okay. No, I don't want one now, thanks.
April 12th, 1953, Escape on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. The news from 69 years ago today is next.
Are you suffering with arthritis or osteoporosis? Do you have diabetes? Did you know that these are just 2 of the hundreds of diseases that have seen improvement with Dr. Wallach's incredible longevity products? You can't get them at a health food store. The only way to get them is to call us at 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065. Do you have heart disease, fibromyalgia, or high blood pressure? Do you have a terrible time losing weight? Dr. Wallach can help. He was a veterinarian and cured diseases in animals. He felt that he could do the same for humans, so he became a physician. Over 50 years of research and helping people like you goes into every bottle of Dr. Wallach's amazing discoveries. Do you want to feel better? Learn how to treat the cause of your problem rather than covering up the symptoms with drugs. Call 800-214-0065. That's 800-214-0065.
No offense, but are you a little fat when you look in the mirror? How would you like to learn the secrets to lose 3 to 5 pounds a week easily without joining the gym or going through any crazy diets? It's called Body Sculpt by Med Diet. For the last 2 decades, we've been helping people just like you that have pounds they want to shed. We've helped millions of people lose thousands and thousands of pounds over the years. And now it's your turn. Learn the secrets of how to lose weight with one simple phone call. You'll see an amazing difference in a matter of days. Don't believe us? We'll offer you a money-back guarantee. If you're ready to start losing weight right now, call right now to learn more about your risk-free order to Body Sculpt.
Call for your risk-free offer. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. 800-738-5332. That's 800-738-5332.
Classic Radio Theater on your favorite station. We're listening to an episode of Escape Classified Secrets starring Parley Baer, as it was originally broadcast Sunday, April 12, 1953. In the newspapers of that Sunday, 69 years ago, these were some of the headlines. President Eisenhower yesterday summoned the 48 governors to an extraordinary briefing session at the White House in a bid for national unity as the Cold War enters a new phase. He said the meeting, to be held May 4th and 5th, will give the chief executives of the states a confidential first-hand picture of the present state of the world and the role of the U.S. in it. Up for discussion will be current developments in the field of international relations, the American defense effort, the problems of national security, and an analysis of our fiscal problems as related thereto. The meeting, believed to be the first of a kind, comes at a moment in history when the new regime in Russia is embarked on a peace offensive. It comes also at a time when the new U.S. administration is struggling with the task of resolving conflicting pressures generated by the free world's defense needs and the attempts to balance the American budget. Senator Harry F. Byrd predicted yesterday the Senate ammunition investigation will lead to a wholesale reorganization in the Pentagon. The Virginia Democrat, prime mover in the inquiry, said he believed the Armed Services Subcommittee under Senator Margaret Chase Smith, the Republican of Maine, already has developed a good record on the shortages first reported by General James A. Van Fleet. Quoting, "I believe the record shows clearly that there were shortages in Korea. I think it shows that to meet Korean requirements, we have drained U.S. stocks dangerously." Small fires burned in cell blocks at the Stillwater, Minnesota prison last night as 1,000 rioting convicts smashed windows and shouted profanities at prison officials. The prisoners had been locked in their cell before the rioting started. Maryland State Penitentiary Warden Edmund T. Swenson, who accepted the job of Stillwater warden and took command of the riot-ridden prison at noon, told newspapermen, "We're not going to be driven into a corner." Senator Robert A. Taft said yesterday any war settlement based on a divided Korea is unsatisfactory and could mean World War III at any moment. Taft coupled his blunt rejection of any such settlement with a warning that recent Russian peace overtures should be taken at face value for purposes of exploratory discussions only, and not for quitting military spending. 7 newspaper and radio editors returned from a visit to Moscow yesterday and reported they paid super capitalist prices for communist comforts during their week-long stay. It cost each $19 a day to stay at the National Hotel in Moscow. This included room, bath, meals, and part of the guide service. But it was a bargain rate, the traveler said. A Russian has to pay $15 for an ordinary full-course meal at the hotel. The equivalent of red cap service at the railroad station in the Soviet city of Brest-Litovsk was $1.25 for each piece of luggage, and it was only carried about 30 feet. And those some of the day's top news stories as reported in the newspapers of Sunday, April 12, 1953, on your Radio Escape, which continues now on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox.
Say, I want to tell you something. There's a lady in the seat behind you. I think you've met her before in the park. Right?
Mm-hmm.
We brought her with us to identify you, but she gave us a pretty good description back in L.A.
Good for her.
Yeah, this is going to be a nice trip. Nothing like traveling with people you know, is there?
Nothing like it.
I don't suppose you've got any reading material you would let me look at.
How about a mystery? It's a spy story. Pretty good.
No, I was thinking of something else. I think you know. Something more scientific. I'm very interested in airplanes. Jet motors.
Sorry. He looked across at me, smiling, pleasant. And to anybody watching, it was nothing more than the casual conversation of two strangers brought together by the night and sympathy of loneliness. Then he leaned back and, reaching inside his jacket, brought out a small automatic, which he kept very carefully hidden from any eyes but mine.
Always carry this with me on a trip. You never know.
I knew, all right. If they couldn't buy what they wanted, there were other ways. That's what he was telling me. And I saw in the man's smiling face that I'd never reach New York unless I killed them before they killed me.
We will return to Escape in just a moment, but first...
The conclusion of Escape, April 12, 1953, when Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox continues following these words.
Are you in bad pain? You know what I mean. Your knees hurt. Your shoulder hurts. Your elbow and back are constantly killing you. And I'm sure you've tried every pain pill or cream available at the drugstore. Am I right? Well, here's something you haven't tried. Pain Magic. Pain Magic is not available at any drugstore. The only place you can get it is by calling the special toll-free number I'm about to give you. And to make things even better, call right now and find out about our buy one, get one free offer. We're so confident it'll work for you that we offer a free bottle with your purchase. No prescription required. Call now to learn how you can get Pain Magic and get rid of your pain. Remember, your results may vary. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. 800-492-8164. That's 800-492-8164.
We wrap up this edition of Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox with the conclusion of Escape, April 12, 1953.
Julie and I had breakfast somewhere in New Mexico. The woman from the park and the man who carried the small automatic sat in a booth while we ate at the counter. I'd thought about things most of the night, and I decided to tell the girl. Not too much, but enough so that she might be able to help. And I knew I'd need some help.
Coffee's pretty good here.
Yeah. Cigarette?
No, thanks.
Julie?
Yes?
I want to tell you something.
Oh?
I don't want you to turn around and look. Just pretend we're talking about the weather, coffee, or anything. But listen.
Well, sure, Charlie.
There's a couple sitting in the booth behind us. They're spies.
Oh, you...
I'm not kidding. I can't tell you much, but as you love your life, you'll believe me.
You're kidding. Spy?
Don't turn around. Smile. Just listen.
But
They're trying to get hold of the plans for a new jet motor. It's faster than anything anybody else has got.
You are kidding.
No, I'm not.
How do you know? How do you know about it?
I'm working for the government.
FBI?
In a way. Now, I need you to help me.
Me?
They think I've got the blueprints, the plans, and they're going to try and get them from me.
But can't we get the police?
No.
Well, why?
Because we're trying to get the head man. And if those two are arrested, we'll have to start all over again. They think I'm working with them. But I got tough about the money they offered, so now they're going to try and get rid of me and get the secret for nothing.
Did they follow you from Los Angeles?
Yes, they got on during the night in Flagstaff.
All right, folks.
I don't see.
Go.
Well,
Just stick with me. I'll explain at the next stop. We can't talk about it on the bus because she's sitting right behind and he's across the aisle.
Listen, are you pulling my... No. No, you're not. Are you?
I'm not. We went on through New Mexico and the Pink Rock and the desert. We talked a lot of nonsense, and after a while I could see she was getting back to the idea that I'd been kidding, especially after the man with the gun introduced himself as Mr. Hutchinson and started to talk about fishing. It was about a half hour before our lunch stop.
Now, you take some of that Northern California country. Talk about trout, steelhead. I tell you, you have never
seen...
seen...
My dad used to take us up, my sister and me, take us up to a place in Maine.
Oh.
Dad always wanted a couple of boys, I guess, but when he saw what he got, he figured it wouldn't spoil his plans anyway. So he took us fishing every summer. You should have seen the fishing up there.
Yeah. I'd like to, someday. I'd like that. How about you, Mr. Rader? Do you like fishing?
No, not much.
Did you ever try it?
A little, when I was a kid.
You ought to take it up again, if you have time.
Yes, I might do that.
If a man had a little money put away, he could do a lot of fishing. That's the way to live. Have about $10,000, go all over the country fishing, no work, no worries. How does that sound, Miss Spaulding?
Oh, what a life.
It'd take more than 10,000.
Oh, I don't know. 10's better than nothing.
$10,000? Why?
They went on talking, and I did some thinking. He was smarter than I'd thought. Looked like a nice, average guy and behaved like one. That's one thing I'd learned. The more ordinary you can be, the less you're going to be suspected, and these people had it down to a science. It wasn't going to be easy because I was going to have to convince Julie all over again. I could see that. My chance didn't come until that evening after our dinner stop. By that time, the woman in the park, who went by the name of Lisa Nyland, Hutchinson, the girl, and myself, all four of us were buddies. We'd pulled up over the Colorado border. There was some kind of trouble up ahead, a slide or a wreck. The driver told us we'd have a half hour or so before we went on.
You want to take a walk for a while? There's a cafe a couple of 100 yards back. I'll give you a call when we're ready to move on. Kind of nice to have an extra leg stretch. How about some coffee?
That'd be nice.
Charlie?
Oh, I don't know. I'd like to have a look at the valley down there. We might walk up the dirt road away, get a pretty good view, sunset and all.
Romantic, huh?
Sure. Why not?
Oh, Charlie.
Okay with you, Lisa? You feel romantic? Want to see a valley in the sunset?
That'd be very nice.
Okay, let's go.
We walked away from the bus and up a narrow ranch road. About 100 yards up, there was a curve and around to a stand of trees. When we got there, you couldn't hear the sounds from the highway any longer. It was peaceful and it was very pretty. I knew that Hutchinson was delighted about the suggestion. It was going to give him his chance, but he made the mistake of playing it a little too clever. And he kept his game of small talk going a minute too long. We got to the top of a cliff overlooking the valley when I stumbled on a rock and fell a few steps behind before they had a chance to stop. And when they did, I already had my gun out.
Hey, what are you going to do? Target practice?
No. Julie, get over here. You two, stay where you are and keep your hands behind your head.
Charlie, are you sure they seem to
I know what they seem. Now look, I don't want to do this, but it's you or me. You should have made the right deal in the first place. I can't let you go, you know that.
We might still make a deal.
You had your chance.
We've got the 10,000. How about waiting till we get to the next town? We'll have the rest of it telegraphed.
I make mistakes, but not that kind.
If you told us what you wanted, we might have been able to get the 20,000 for you in Los Angeles.
Turn around, both of you.
Oh, now, wait a minute. We're all in this together. We all want the same thing. You figure you can get more money from the head man in the East. Okay. Give us a chance to get it for you. We're in contact.
Turn around.
He gives us our orders. What difference does it make? Now, look, you shoot us. What do you think they'll do? They won't let you get away with it. They'll kill you.
Charlie, you can't just shoot them. Turn them over to the police. You can't just shoot them.
He can't tell the police, Julie. He's with us. Only he wants money out of it. And he thinks he'll get more from the head man in the East.
Turn around. I'm not going to say it again.
Charlie, don't. I know you've got a duty, but you can arrest them. Please, you can still...
I told you to be quiet.
Arrest? Listen, Raider, you're not going to kill us over 10,000. Why, it's murder, even if you...
Miss Nyland dropped without a sound. Hutchinson held his middle for a second and tried to keep his balance. I shot him in the back of the head, and I knew he was dead before his body slipped to the ground. The girl just stood next to me, her hands tightly covering her mouth, and she was shivering. I took a look across the wide valley. The sky was turning purple.
I've never seen anybody killed before.
I'm sorry.
Couldn't you have arrested them or something? Couldn't you? Did you have to?
I had to. They wouldn't have stopped at killing both of us if they'd had the chance.
What are you going to do? What are you going to do now?
I've got to get the money for evidence.
What are you going to tell the driver? He'll ask where they are. Charlie? Driver's going to wonder where they are. Charlie, what are you doing?
I've got to put them over the cliff.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
I've got to.
Oh, no. No, you can't. Charlie, no.
We got back to the bus, and neither of us said anything about the two we'd walked off with. I guess nobody had seen us together, and after waiting around for another half hour, the driver gave up.
Well, I'll drop their baggage in La Junta. Better notify the police, too.
Screwy, all right.
Okay, folks. Sorry for the delay. You better go back to your seat, mister.
Sure. I was starved when we pulled into the depot at La Junta. I'd already made up my mind to lay over and take a detour on another bus. The girl wasn't going to be able to keep quiet much longer, and I had to get rid of her. We got out of the bus, and the two men were standing alongside, waiting.
Just a minute, please. We're special agents for the FBI. Search them, Larry.
Yeah, just a gun and money.
Where are the other two?
The other two?
They're dead. He killed them.
Oh. We'll take those plans now, Mr. Rader. And don't do anything silly. There are 4 men covering you.
Okay. It's in my shoe. You want me to take it off now?
Please.
Here.
Thank you, Mr. Rader. This isn't worth anything, really, you know. We planted it in the factory in L.A. for someone to steal. What we wanted was to be led to the top man in New York. And when you sent that wire to him back in Arizona, we got him.
Oh.
We were worried about you, Julie, when you didn't call us from Albuquerque.
I didn't get a chance. He was with me all the time.
Is she... Are you playing spy, too, Julie?
I'm working for the government, Mr. Rader.
She's been following you since you stole the plans.
Well, you fooled me. I bet you fooled Hutchinson and Nyland, too. It won't matter to them, though, will it? Well, that's the way it goes.
Take him away, will you? I had to watch him murder those two. I don't want to hear him laugh about it.
Come on, Rader. We've got a car waiting.
Sure. So long, Julie. Nice to meet you.
Escape has brought you Classified Secret, written and directed by Anthony Ellis, starring Parley Baer. Featured in the cast were Charlotte Lawrence, Peter Leeds, Miriam Crucian, Tim Graham, Leroy Leonard, and Georgia Ellis. The special music for Escape is composed and conducted by Leith Stevens.
April 12, 1953, Escape on Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox. Thanks for listening. Thank this station. Support the advertisers. Tell your friends the great radio shows are right here at this spot on the dial. Classic Radio Theater with Wyatt Cox on your favorite radio station.